What are Minchiate? And what are Minchiate trumps? Most people have at least heard of the tarot, or indeed seen or handled tarot decks. They're usually associated with divination and fortune telling, but historically they started out as card games. Very interesting ones at that. Bridge, for example, can be viewed as a distant relative. Now, in the 16th century, tarot games already played in Florence morphed into what came to be known as Minchiate or Germini. The name Germini is less known, but it's actually preferable to Minchiate, which is a very vulgar word. Germini was essentially just a version of the game of tarot, where teams would compete for card points as well as collect certain combinations of cards. It gained massive popularity but died out in the early 20th century. One of the key features of Germini was that there were not just 21 trumps as in most tarot games, but a staggering 40. The original deck of 21 lost one card, whereas a group of 20 new cards was inserted just below the 5 highest trumps. These 20 newcomers represented 4 virtues, the 4 elements, and the 12 signs of the zodiac. This is, by the way, a good indicator of the zodiac not having been encoded in the original 21 tarot trumps. Even more interestingly, the order of the signs of the zodiac in Germini is completely different to the one that was coined in Mesopotamia more than 3,000 years ago, and that's been a stable cultural staple from Iceland all the way to Thailand. This is the order of the constellations in Germini, and it does not match up at all with the classical order of the constellations around the ecliptic. This may be a good moment to mention that the name of a game of Germini has indeed sprung from the highest zodiacal trump, Gemini. Okay, but what's with that zany zodiac? Why on earth would Germini players garble it so much? The sources remain silent, but upon closer inspection, one can discern thematic groups. So, this is simply the traditional order of the constellations, arranged from right to left, because that is in fact the direction the Sun, the Moon, and the planets apparently move through them, as viewed from the surface of the Earth. The zodiac starts with Aries and ends in Pisces. The 4 final signs of the zodiac already constitute 2 thematic groups. Pisces, the 2 fish, and Aquarius, the water carrier, are somewhat parallel to Capricorn and Sagittarius, the goat, and the centaur archer. The crucial step towards obtaining the Germini arrangement seems to have been the collocation of the 2 overtly watery animals, Cancer and Pisces, the crab and the fish, as well as the 2 siblings, Aries and Capricorn, the ram and the goat. Thus, Aquarius is fishing for 2 watery beasts, and Sagittarius is hunting for 2 terrestrial beasts. Without permutating the order, we now simply push Leo, the lion, closer to the first 2 signs. The resulting 4 groups of 3 constellations each are indeed already the ones we can observe in Germini decks. A few final touches are still put to it though. Scorpio and Taurus move inward inside their respective groups and end up as follows. Why that move? Well, Libra and Virgo, the scales and the Virgin, can be construed as a group of matching dainty entities, whereas Leo and Taurus, the lion and the bull, form a group of 2 exceptionally strong animals. Thus, we achieve some parity with the earlier groups. And Gemini, the twins, as well as Scorpio, the scorpion, may be construed as the leaders of their respective groups. Scorpio is of course a bit of an outlier, but then again one has to work with one's material, and it might be viewed as a dainty being parallel to Libra and Virgo. Finally, 2 of the 4 triples swap places, and we eventually end up with the very order of the signs of the zodiac as it can be observed in Germini decks. This time around, we read the cards from left to right. A possible reason for the final swap may have been the association of the 4 groups with the 4 elements, but air and earth are traditionally construed as a pair of diametrical opposites, as are water and fire. Therefore, coupling the individual groups according to these attributes would not seem too far-fetched. Before saying a few last words on the pairing with the elements, I'd like to issue a reminder that the essential step is pairing up Cancer with Pisces as well as Aries with Capricorn, after which the constituent groups already emerge. Yes, the elements. Correlating the 12 signs of the zodiac with the 4 elements is no news. It's been a frequent endeavour throughout history. The desire to systematize everything permeates human culture, especially calendric sciences. Assigning every hour in a day a planet resulted in the names of the days of the week, and this is but one such example. But let's have another brief look at the traditional order from Aries to Pisces. This time around, arranged in 3 groups of 4. At least 3 of the constellations were always perceived as inherently akin to specific elements. Pisces might be the best example. Fish are about as watery gets. Besides, they inhabit a large cluster of non-zodiacal constellations called heavenly waters, ranging from Carina to Delphinus and from Eridanus to Pisces Austrinus. Right opposite Pisces, in the spring sky, yes, the constellations are best visible in the night sky when the sun is not in or near them. Leo has traditionally been regarded as the fiery sign par excellence, and the scales of Libra have usually been construed as the airy sign due to its suspension and volatility. Subsequently, the entire respective columns of these originally but a few clearly elemental constellations were assigned their element. the Earth presiding over the fourth, ambiguous one. System pressure did also lead to other ambiguities. Scorpio became watery and Aquarius airy, but the system proved to be longevous. That was all about traditional correlations, whereas Germini players apparently applied a playful attitude to these matters and gathered the constellations into quote-unquote more reasonable cohorts. Two strong fiery animals, Leo and Taurus, plus the two strong and strongly bonded Gemini twins, Castor and Pollux. Two watery animals, Cancer and Pisces, plus their hunter, Aquarius. Two terrestrial animals, Aries and Capricorn, plus their hunter, Sagittarius, as well as two dainty, airy entities, Libra and Virgo, plus a dainty, yet potentially dangerous entity, Scorpio. Scorpio is indubitably a slight misfit, but here's once again our system pressure. It's interesting to notice that the Germini trump cards that precede the zodiacal block and actually denote the four elements are in the exactly inverted order to the elemental order we just postulated for the constellation triples. Even though definitive proof is pending, acknowledging the crucial pairings of Aries and Capricorn and Cancer and Pisces, as well as minor subsequent regrouping, can definitely help at least remember the sequence. Now that's that. Cheers for visiting.